A very good evening. It's the 5th of October 2023. Welcome to the primetime news here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Senida Senanayaka.
And I'm Mariam Gunavijaya. First up, here's a look at your headlines.
No solution to the salinity barrier. Many villages in Mathura inundated for 12 days. President issues directives to provide immediate relief to the people of Mathura. NMRA says it cannot provide information to the Auditor General. COPE committee calls for the decision to be withdrawn immediately. Policy interest rates reduced further. Market interest rates will drop, says CBSL governor. A decision to increase a cup of plain tea by 10 rupees, kottu by 20 rupees and fried rice by 50 rupees. Do not obstruct the judiciary, lawyers protest. 2 more petitions filed against the online safety bill.
ඔවුන් සත්‍ය ප්‍රකාශ කරන හැටියට තීන්දුව කිරීමේ හෝ තීන්දුව නොකිරීමේ හිමිකම තියෙන්නේ මේ ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ අත යට ඉන්න මේ පූස්පට උපස් දෙනා.
2023 Cricket World Cup kicks off. England set New Zealand a target of 283 runs.
On to your lead story this evening, a landslide was reported from a part of the Dialape mountain in Akurasa today.
The Mathura District Management Centre said area residents belonging to 30 families were evacuated. No fatalities were reported. However, 25 houses that were at risk due to landslides in that area were damaged. The Disaster Management Centre said a team of the National Building Research Organisation visited the area to check on the situation.
People of 16 divisional secretariats of the Mathura district have been badly affected due to floods. The president has issued directives to provide relief promptly to the people affected in Mathura.
Now, all schools in the Mathura district remain closed today and tomorrow due to this situation.
This is the salinity barrier of the Nilwala River that has led to much controversy with floods in many areas as a result of showers experienced in the Mathura district. Many areas in Akurasa, Kamburupitiya, Athuraliya, Malimbada, Mathura and Tihagoda divisional secretariats are inundated. The people say they are helpless as the water level has remained the same for more than 11 days, unlike previous times.
We are in this situation today because the district agrarian associations, the water board, the irrigation department and other high-ranking officials arbitrarily built the salinity barrier under the influence of bribery and corruption.
People residing in 65 Gram Niladhari divisions are currently suffering. The salinity barrier project, which was proposed in 2003, commenced in 2012 and was completed in 2022. Its primary purpose was to prevent salt water from mixing with the river and causing a drinking water crisis.
I was there during the 1969 to 70 floods. Our 2-story houses were underwater. A similar flood hit in 2003 and 2017. Although there was major flooding, the water receded in 3 days and cleared up. It is because of this barrier that this flood has been going on for a month now.
කලින් කියන්නේ 2017 ආවා. ඉතින් ඒව බහැලා ගියානේ. දැන් මෙන්න මේ මගුලක් බැඳගෙනලුනේ ලවණ බැම්මේ කියලා ගඟේ වතුර බහින්න නැතුළුනේ.
The Mathura district secretary said they are attempting to formulate a method to drain the water immediately following discussions with all parties.
The water is collected in many areas of the city due to unauthorized or irregular constructions. We are taking efforts to bring together the irrigation department and the water board to formulate a system to drain water surrounding the Nilwala river promptly. I think creating the necessary background for this was discussed at the cabinet meeting yesterday.
Mathura District Secretary Y. Wickramasiri has sent a letter to the secretaries of the Ministries of Irrigation and Water Supply regarding the surrounding areas being inundated due to the salinity barrier built across the Nilwala River. It states that area residents and agrarian organizations have informed that the water flow near the salinity barrier is slow and the people's lives have been severely affected, with unrest growing. The letter adds that area residents have been affected prior to this as well due to the failure of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board to fulfill the agreement reached regarding this issue, and the board should bear the responsibility for the growing unrest.
As the Irrigation Department, the Director General of Irrigation reached a special decision on the 7th of September to cut the bypass canal on the left bank. Accordingly, we have already cut that bypass canal, but it has a few seat piles under it. We held a special discussion yesterday to remove them. Based on the decisions of that discussion, we will reach a high-level decision at the ministerial level and resolve the issue with the officials of the two relevant ministries.
Army relief teams were deployed to several areas including Malimbada, Kadduwa, Thalgahagoda and Katuwangoda this afternoon. Vehicular movement along the Mathura Hakmana main road has come to a standstill, while the Katuwantudu area in Naimbala Mathura is also inundated. Area residents said brackish water has flowed into many houses and they are unable to go out due to the presence of crocodiles. Low-lying areas and houses in Bandattara have been inundated, completely disrupting the people's day-to-day life. The Mulatiana Kotapula road was inundated in Ellavala and vehicular movement was disrupted for many hours.
People using railway services today were severely inconvenienced, although the trade union action launched by railway workers was called off earlier in the day.
Around 30 train journeys were cancelled this morning due to the railway strike. Commuters were further inconvenienced due to the heavy showers across the country.
සීසන් අරන් අපි යන්නේ පෙරේදා සීසන් එක ගත්තේ. ඊයේ ස්ට්‍රයික්. ඉතින් අපි කොහොමද බස් වල යන්නේ? අපිට මේ විදිහට හැමදාම රස්තිය අදු ගහන්න බෑනේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ ගහමරා ගත්තා නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳ ගන්න ඕන. කොහොම මිනිස්සු මේවට පලි නෑනේ.
Why was the strike launched? A security officer attached to the Maligawatha railway yard had assaulted a railway guard, prompting the workers to go on strike. Although the railway guard was suspended, the unsatisfied railway workers continued their strike. How was the issue solved? This morning, the General Manager of Railways instructed all railway assistant guards to immediately report to work. They were notified to at least report to the nearest stations as railway service was declared an essential service by a Gazette notification. He said that legal action will be taken against those who violate the law. A discussion on the matter was held with the participation of the Minister of Transport and Highways.
The Department of Railways and the Minister of Transport agreed that there are certain discrepancies and assured that the issue will be solved. They promised to ensure our safety. A 3-member committee has been appointed. They said that those responsible for the issue will be brought before the law. The strike was then called off. Those who applied for leave will report to work. A committee has been appointed to conduct an internal investigation into the matter. The subject minister also instructed the police department to submit a report over the civil laws in the country. Railway operations will return to normalcy later today.
It was revealed in the Committee on Public Enterprises, or COP, that the NMRA has decided not to provide any information to the Auditor General's department without a written request.
Auditor General WPC Vikramaratne stressed that if the decision made by the NMRA is not withdrawn, his department will withdraw from auditing the NMRA.
The board decided that the audit officers should submit written requests for documents that they need for pursual. The board also decided to inform the audit office that they need to submit written requests when requiring documents for pursual. සභාපතිතුමා විගණකාධිපතිතුමා කාටද වග කියන්නේ?
අතවශ්‍යම මේකේ අපි
උත්තරයක් දෙන්න.
Yeah, dossiers ඉල්ලනකොට
No, I'm asking you to whom he is responsible. Give me a straightforward answer.
Yeah, he is responsible. Yeah.
No, විගණකාධිපතිතුමා කාටද වග කියන්නේ කියලා අහන්නේ.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට.
එතකොට ඔබතුමාලට පුළුවන් ද තීන්දුවක් ගන්නද විගණකාධිපතිතුමාගේ කටයුතු සම්බන්ධයෙන්?
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට වග කියනවා සහ ඔහුගේ විෂයපතේ කිසි ලෙසකින්වත් සීමා කරලා නැහැ.
ඒක දැනගෙන හිටියද මේව තීන්දුවක් කරන් තියෙනවා කියලා?
දැනුවත් කරේ නැහැ හැම. දැනුවත් නැහැ. ඉතින් එතනම ප්‍රශ්න.
So there is a problem there itself. The NMRA board has no right to violate the powers of the parliament without informing the Auditor General. The Auditor General is not ready to support the committee on this discussion today because of this. This decision has to be reversed with immediate effect. The constitution has been violated and you have gone against the powers of the parliament and have attacked the independence of the Auditor General as well. Once this decision is withdrawn, you all will be called in again.
මේක withdraw කරාට පස්සේ ඔබතුමාලා කැඳවීමකට භාජනය කරනවා. අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලයෙන් මේ
The executive board didn't say such a thing but said that there is a mistake in recording because we were told that some officials come and take documents without even making a note of what they are taking. Then we said to take note of the documents that are being taken away. There are so many problems in this country, in this institution, like this. When there are many accusations against this, the public actually sees it in a different way.
අනුකම ව්‍යවස්ථාව උල්ලංඝනය කිරීම.
සමහර තොරතුරු ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා පස්වෙනි අවස්ථාවට.
මේ ආයතනයේ විගණනය කිරීමෙන් මම ඉවත් වෙනවා මේ කාරණා ඉවත් වුණේ නැත්තම්.
මේ කිසිම අවස්ථාවක අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලයේ
No such decision was taken by the board of directors at any time saying that information will not be provided. The complaints that come to me saying that the facts or information were not given were not complaints. They were facts.
නෑ පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නකෝ දැන් මේ ඔබතුමාලා මේක දැක්කේ නැත්තම් මේ බෝඩ් මිනිට් එක ගන්න.
If you haven't seen this now, this is a board minute. This board minute will be confirmed on the next board meeting. Then you will see it and confirm it. When there are already registered suppliers and other suppliers have been brought in, then they have brought in substandard medicines. Then they say the Auditor General has to exchange a number of documents. You are not rejecting that but blocking it. We are not that stupid.
අපි එච්චර මොඩියෝ නෙමෙයි. හරිද? දැන් මේ කරන්නේ රස්තියාදු කරවල මහන්සි කරවල මේක අධ්‍යයනය කරන්නේ.
කරුණාකරලා මේ circular.
Please withdraw this circular and the board decision and facilitate the Auditor General to carry out the audit. You will be called very soon on a date recommended by the Auditor General.
The National Medicines Regulatory Authority is the only regulating authority regarding all the medicines and medical equipment used in this country. Any medicine or medical equipment cannot be used in Sri Lanka without the approval of the NMRA. The relevant medicine as well as the company that manufactures it must register with the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, and if a drug is brought into Sri Lanka even in an emergency, a permit exempting the registration must be obtained from the NMRA. However, the actions of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority recently led to a strong controversy, with allegations saying that substandard drugs were approved. The most recent case reported was regarding the administration of the IV human immunoglobulin medicine. Several patients experienced allergic reactions following the administration of this medicine, and it was later confirmed that it was substandard. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority has issued a notice that they have not issued a registration or deregistration permit regarding this drug. It is stated in the statement issued by the NMRA that the document submitted by the concerned party stating that a permit exempting the registration has been obtained is forged, and the signature and official seal of the Chief Executive Officer are also forged. But the National Medicines Regulatory Authority party must make a written request to the ministry or the minister in order to issue a permit exempting registration. These recommendations were given by the Ministry of Health, permitting the exemption of registration even though the NMRA claims that the letter that is said to be issued by them is forged. For several medicines, including bupivacaine, where deaths were reported after administration, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority has used different official seals on the permits exempting registration and various letters, and no official seal has been placed on the permit issued for bupivacaine. Against this backdrop, is it possible to accept the statements made by the NMRA regarding the immunity-boosting drug called immunoglobulin? Are various restrictions imposed on providing information to the Auditor General because these will be disclosed?
I will definitely hold an investigation about it. I will be able to write a letter to the Secretary only after deciding. Afterwards, you can say that a letter has been issued immediately. I don't know if a letter has been written outside this. I'll have to find that out.
The All Salon Restaurant Owners Association has decided to increase the prices of plain tea, kottu and fried rice in line with the rise in gas prices.
Litro and Laughs Gas have increased the prices of their domestic gas cylinders. During the past 3 months, the prices of gas, fuel, water and electricity were increased, but we did not increase the prices of any of our products. However, from today onwards, we will increase the price of a plain tea by 10 rupees, the price of a kottu will increase by 20 rupees and fried rice by 50 rupees. If electricity tariffs increase again, we will have to increase the prices of our products once again as well.
The Ceylon Electricity Board has requested the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka to increase the electricity tariffs once again. The Electricity Users Association expressed views on the move against a backdrop where the authorities had introduced a policy to revise electricity tariffs biannually.
This is not just a policy. The matter was debated in Parliament. It was gazetted. A cabinet paper was also issued. This is clearly mentioned in Section 5 of the Sri Lanka Electricity Act. The government is violating the same policy that it introduced. This minister is violating his own policy. He is a populist. We condemn this. This is against the law. Why is the PUCSL rejecting this? This is a major concern for the Electricity Users Association.
Minister of Power and Energy Kantanu Jayasekara expressed views on the matter in Parliament today.
In January, we proposed that the electricity tariffs must be revised biannually. However, based on its setbacks, we later proposed that the January 2024 revision be done in October and the next revision be done in July 2024.
Speaking in Parliament today, Opposition Leader Sadith Premadasa commented on the economic situation in Sri Lanka.
How will the people make ends meet when the economy contracts, revenue reduces and they lose their sources of income? They produce statistics of the increase in gas prices, electricity tariffs and water tariffs. Inflation has significantly dropped, but the people are still suffering. The UNDP says that 6 out of 10 Sri Lankans are at risk of poverty. 1.23 million of 22.1 million are at risk, but the government is acting as if nothing is wrong. Against such a backdrop, how did the cabinet allow the increase in gas prices? You are burdening the people. I request you to be sensitive to the people's issues. The British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Andrew Patrick, visited Kandy this morning. The High Commissioner visited the Askiri Mahaviharya and visited the Mahanayaka Thero as well.
The British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Andrew Patrick, visited the Dalada Maligava and met the Devadana Nilame Pradeep Nilanga Dala. Later, the High Commissioner went to the Askiri Mahaviharya and visited the Mahanayaka Most Venerable Varakakuda Sri Gnanaratnana Thero and exchanged views. The Mahanayaka Thero commented on the difficulties faced by the people of Sri Lanka and the lack of equipment for school children and asked for help.
The UK is playing a major role here to support the economic recovery. I'm very pleased to say that we have more British tourists here now, almost as many as were here before COVID. We also are Sri Lanka's second largest export market, so we are helping Sri Lankan companies to sell things to the UK, and of course that helps raise the economy out of the problems that it's had.
News first with the people.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka today took steps to further lower its policy interest rates, which determine the market interest rates of the country.
According to the policy decision taken by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka's Monetary Board, the lending rates to commercial banks have been reduced to 11%. The fixed deposit rates given by the Central Bank for savings in commercial banks was reduced to 10%. Meanwhile, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Weerasinghe in a press conference held today explained his decision that the loan interest rates of the banks will decrease in the future.
As interest rates to borrow from the government continues to decrease, the market interest rates should decrease. Two things cause these interest rates to decrease quickly, especially the decrease in the interest rates of government bonds and treasury bills. The second factor is the decrease in our policy interest rate. It will be further reduced by both of them. In this case, we have issued the entire portfolio of those banks.
සමහර ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් තුනකට විතරක් කැප් එකක් දාන්න. ඊට අමතරව අනිත් ඒවාට තියෙන මුළු සමස්ත බැංකුවේ ඒ තියෙන ණය දෙන ප්‍රමාණයට අදාළ පොලිය ඒකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ හැමෝටම එක විදිහට අඩු වෙන්න ඕන.
The central bank governor added that the rate of increase in commodity prices or inflation has fallen below the expected level.
The controversial Chinese research and survey vessel Shiyan-6 that has drawn much attention from India was sailing about 350 nautical miles away from Sri Lanka today.
Platforms recording data from the automatic identification system of vessels reported that the Chinese research and survey vessel Shiyan-6 is expected to reach Sri Lanka on the 9th of October. However, the Shiyan-6 is yet to obtain diplomatic permission to enter any Sri Lankan port or conduct research in Sri Lankan waters. Against such a backdrop, the University of Ruhuna has announced that it has decided to step away from the research program that was to take place with the Chinese research and survey vessel Shiyan-6. A group of lawyers engaged in a protest opposite the Halfstop court today, demanding justice over the resignation of the Bulletin magistrate.
The lawyers marched to the Halfstop court and engaged in demonstrations thereafter. Everyone knows that the Mahinda Rajapaksa regime was ended by the lawyers. It will be the end of the government too if lawyers take to the streets. The threats made to the Mullatiu magistrate will not stop there. It will come back to Halfstop magistrate as well as the High Courts and will extend to the Judicial Services Commission. Ranil Wickramasinghe pointed his finger at the judiciary. The speaker pointed it to the judiciary. Today the Mullatiu magistrate has to face the consequences. The government knows that they have failed. Since they are aware that they are failing, they are trying to silence the people and re-establish their power as per their discretion in the upcoming elections.
The Samagi Jana Balawegaya and the Socialist Youth Union also filed petitions before the Supreme Court against the online safety bill.
General Secretary Ranjit Madhum Bandara, Rehan Jayavikrama and Professor G.L. Pieris filed a petition before the Supreme Court on behalf of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. The Socialist Youth Union filed a petition challenging the online safety bill. The National People's Party expressed their views on the matter. Today we have a president who wouldn't hesitate to even sell our country to reach his objectives. He is the one who appointed the 5 members to the commission. He disagrees with the idea of their leader is accused as a liar, and if it is a person who admires the qualities of his leader, it doesn't even matter even if the people of the country, they are the ones who express the truth because these 5 kittens are under the hand of the president. The president and his henchmen have bought this draft together to make blunt the democratic right of the people in this country, which is to express their opinion.
In other local developments, a police constable sustained injuries in a motor accident at the Independence Avenue roundabout at Cinnamon Gardens in Colombo this afternoon.
The accident was recorded on a nearby CCTV camera. A police constable who was on traffic duty at the Independence Avenue roundabout in Colombo 7 was hit by a car in this incident. The constable was rushed to the National Hospital.
The inaugural Academic Conference 2023 of the Sri Lankan Society of Lifestyle Medicine was held at the University of Colombo today.
The inaugural Academic Conference 2023 of the Sri Lankan Society of Lifestyle Medicine was conducted as a hybrid conference with the attendance of many healthcare professionals. Lifestyle medicine is a branch of medicine focused on preventive healthcare and self-care, dealing with prevention, research and treatment of disorders caused by lifestyle factors. These include nutrition, physical inactivity and self-destructive behaviors, including the consumption of tobacco products and drug or alcohol abuse. Welcome remarks were delivered by the President of the Sri Lankan Society of Lifestyle Medicine, Dr. Samandika Saparamadu. The conference featured many esteemed local and international speakers and luminaries in lifestyle medicine, including consultant physician Professor Arosha Disanayaka and developmental disability medical specialist Dr. Amila Munasinghe. Several invitees from Australia, United Kingdom and America, including the director of the Australasian Society of Lifestyle Medicine, Professor John Stevens, President-elect of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, Dr. Beth Freites, Public Health Specialist Dr. David Katz and Editor-in-Chief of Lifestyle Medicine, Professor Fraser Birrell, were present for the conference. The conference included a panel discussion on non-communicable diseases and healthy lifestyles. The President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, Dr. Vinyari Ratna, spoke about the role of non-profit professional organizations in transforming the primary healthcare landscape in Sri Lanka.
So Sri Lanka, to conclude, have impressive health gains based on conventional health indices and historically acted on social determinants to improve well-being, state-sponsored education, healthcare, food subsidies, etc. But still, notwithstanding all these successes, we have vulnerabilities, disparities and inequities still growing in some areas. New health challenges are there. Therefore, what got us here will not take us where we want to be. That's a healthy society. Healthy lifestyles will not be achieved unless we change some of our fundamentals. So right to health must be at the center of decision making, and non-profit professional organizations play a pivotal role in that.
The Sri Lankan Society of Lifestyle Medicine is a community of healthcare professionals dedicated to establishing lifestyle medicine as a primary therapeutic approach for managing chronic non-communicable diseases in Sri Lanka. Its goal is to create a unified platform for diverse health professionals, including primary and secondary care physicians, public health professionals, allied health professionals, and researchers to advance the practice of lifestyle medicine in Sri Lanka.
Divi Savya, the second leg of the Divi Savya program to provide much needed school books and stationery items to school children in Sri Lanka. 6th of October, Dimulakala.
Dai Daruwange Anagate Winwin Divi Savya, LOLC Praja Satkara Kamehevara.
The MTV-MBC network, which holds the official local television and radio broadcasting rights of this year's ICC Cricket World Cup, brings the tournament to you with many experiences at an international level.
The biggest cricket tournament in history, viewed by the biggest audience ever, broadcast to Sri Lanka from the beautifully designed World Cup Centre at Sri Lanka's biggest studio complex, Stein. This is the World Cup Centre at the Stein studio in Ratmalana. We bring you the experience of international matches on TV1 from the studio, along with the experience of international match analysis. The Stein studio is one of the largest and most modern venues in Sri Lanka and comes with the latest technology. The unique technical strategies, Stein Grid Line, Stein Steer Track Pero, are being used for match analysis. The speciality of this technology is that the production of this technology is done by the production and technology team of Stein Studios itself. MTV-MBC network will bring you broadcasts of the ICC Cricket World Cup with the latest technology.
කුමා කිව්ව not out කියලා හයි කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ නම් එයා කරේ හෙන්රි කරේ හැම බෝලයක්ම අර කහපාට ඉර වගේ මෙතනින් එළියට යවන්න පටන් ගත්තා වැදිලා. out swingers. එළියට යනවා කතාන්ට එළියට. ඔව් අර
Joining us at the World Cup Centre today are the members of the 1996 Cricket World Cup winning team's dashing opening batsman Sanath Jayasuriya and a batsman known to be ahead of technology, Marvan Nathapattu. Former women's cricketer Shripali Virakudi too joined us at the studio today.
Philips ගත්තොත් එයා හොඳම සිටුේෂන් එක ඇවිල්ලා බෝල් කරලා විකට්ස් දෙකක් දවා ගත්තා. විකට් එකට අනුව පන්දු වැඩි.
All the matches will be brought to you by MTV MBC Network, which owns the official local television and radio broadcasting rights of this year's ICC Cricket World Cup. Matches can also be followed on YFM. Matches also broadcasted live on www.sirasatv.lk. Sirasa TV have also composed a song for this year's ICC Cricket World Cup.
The first match of the ICC Cricket World Cup between England and New Zealand took place in Ahmedabad, India, with New Zealand defeating the reigning world champions by 9 wickets.
Reigning world champions England and runners-up New Zealand opened the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 in India in a replay of the final of the last World Cup.
We saw him in a World Cup in greatest batter I ever saw, a great ambassador for a game and a great ambassador for conditions. The two sides kick us off at Ahmedabad, a hot day.
Best over.
This time around, New Zealand emerged the winner. Batting first, England struggled to 282 for 9 wickets, a target that the Kiwis achieved in just 36.2 overs for the loss of just 1 wicket.
Belatedly have the crowd ready. Away he goes. That is quite brilliant. Quite astonishingly brilliant. And that's it. An unbeaten partnership of 273 will take New Zealand home. They win by 9 wickets.
The MTV MBC network owns the official local television and radio broadcasting rights of this year's ICC Cricket World Cup and will bring you all the action live.
123 from 96 on debut. Well, who knows what kind of doors that might open up for this fellow Rachin Ravindra. The doors have already opened. They're wide open for Devon Conway, who's come into the game very late at international level. But this will be a standout moment for him as well, to get his adopted country home in the fashion that he has. He looks a bit spent now, but the joy of this and this whole camp, remember, without Tim Southey there, injured, without Lockie Ferguson today, injured, without Kane Williamson, injured. They were down to the bare bones going into game 1. And somehow they've pulled out a performance which has shocked this tournament, and it's only the first day and night. And it will have shocked the world, really. This is no other team.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Primetime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I've been Senita Senanaik.
And I'm Mariam Ganavijaya. Good night.